I was 6 weeks along when I found out I was having twins. 2 little flickering hearts on the ultrasound screen, and my heart burst with joy. At 11 weeks, I had some mild bleeding, so I went in for an ultrasound to check on the babies. It was at that appointment that my world came crashing down. Mrs. Bartick, the situation is quite dire. Baby A's sac is ruptured, and there is no amniotic fluid left. This condition is incompatible with life. We recommend that you terminate the pregnancy to avoid life-threatening complications for you. The air left my lungs, and I sat there, stunned. I was desperate for different news, any hope for my sweet babies already deeply embedded in my heart. The next few weeks were hellish. I cried, prayed, and cried some more. I held my belly, talking and singing to my babies, telling them how loved they were and asking them to hold on. I resolved that as long as my babies had heartbeats, they were fighting, so I would fight with them. I understood that I was taking a huge risk, allowing myself to fall in love with these children, with full knowledge that I would likely bury them. But that is the task of mother, to fully love what she knows she could lose. The anxiety of living each day, not knowing if my children were alive or dead inside of me, was gut-wrenching. But the anxiety leading up to my weekly ultrasounds had me crawling out of my skin. Each week, when I saw both of those beautiful heartbeats, relief flooded over me like ocean waves. And yet, always, I was reminded of the gravity of the situation. Even if baby A survives to birth, his lungs will not be developed enough to function outside of the womb. You must remember this condition is incompatible with life. I got it, okay? My daily prayer was that baby A might survive long enough that we could get his brother, aptly referred to as baby B, to the point where he could live, and that baby A could die in my arms, feeling his mother's love for him in his few moments of life. I obviously hoped for a miracle that they both might survive and live, but yeah, I got it. As the weeks went by, and it started looking possible that baby B might make it to viability, I faced new and unique challenges. A baby shower, for example. Do I have it for twins or for one baby? It seemed wrong to celebrate one baby, almost like denying the existence of my precious second boy. But it also seemed morbid to have a shower for 2 babies when it was clear that I'd be lucky to be bringing home even one. We decided to postpone a shower until after the babies were born. There were also some critical things that I had to plan for baby A. Choosing a name. It felt like one of the only things that I'd get to do for him as his mother. It had to be special. My husband and I chose Noah Peter, roughly meaning gentle rock, which he was, quietly surviving week after week against all odds. Peter is my father's name, and I felt comfort knowing that Noah would live on through his namesake. We chose Ryan Matthew for baby B. Matthew meaning gift from God, which, oh, how he was. Planning Noah's funeral was another way that I chose to honor and mother this child that I loved so dearly and was preparing to lose. Choosing songs and readings, it was all part of my grieving process, even while I felt his little body bouncing around inside of me. For his memorial, I chose Godspeed by the Dixie Chicks. I loved the beautiful message of the endless love of a mother embedded in the lines, "Godspeed, little man. Sweet dreams, little man. Oh, my love will fly to you each night on angel's wings. I sang this lullaby, this faithful prayer of my love for them daily as I rocked my belly and prayed for strength. Seeing them both on the ultrasound screen each week was both heartwarming and heart-wrenching because they were so alive and protected inside of me, and yet I had no way to protect my sweet Noah from the terrible outcome waiting for him here on the outside. At 25 weeks, a full 14 weeks after my water broke, and months of bed rest, I began having a placental abruption and was rushed into an emergency C-section. I was terrified, not just for Noah, but now for Ryan's survival and health at such a terribly early gestational age. I was in shock, and I pleaded to God, please, no, I can't lose both of them. It's too early. As the doctors prepped me for surgery, I recall thinking, I can't believe I'm about to lose my son. My sweet Noah is about to die. It was surreal. Noah was born first, limp and lifeless. His APGAR was a 1. They worked fervently to try to save him, and I closed my eyes and prayed that both of my babies might somehow live. Ryan was born and quickly stabilized, to the degree that you can stabilize a 25-week fetus. Ryan was rushed to the NICU, even while Noah coded over and over before my eyes. I heard the NICU doctor say, "We'll try one more time, and then we'll call it." I knew what that meant. A few minutes later, the neonatologist came over and delivered the news. Baby A is alive, but his condition is extremely grave. The next 48 hours in particular are critical, and he is very sick, but he is alive and breathing on the ventilator. Alive. Baby A, our Noah, was alive. The next few months were torture, filled with heart and abdominal surgeries, ventilators, collapsed lungs, feeding tubes, needles, more pain and procedures than most of us will endure in our whole lives. The babies were 12 inches and less than 2 pounds each, tiny, translucent wisps of things. But Noah Peter and Ryan Matthew are fighters. They proved that in utero. Today, against all odds, they are healthy, happy, normal, 6-year-old boys, full of sweetness and spirit. This is the beginning of their extraordinary story. But this is also the beginning of my story as a mother, as their mother. A story that began with the choice to love what I knew I would likely lose. But only by living that choice did I gain everything. That is my miracle.